welcome. It's Tony here again, back on the ESA YouTube channel, and we're here to look at another panel showcase, this time for the Mooney M20. So here are the panels. A couple of panels there, left and a right one there, stitched together in the image that you can see at the bottom there. So this particular aircraft is for the Microsoft Flight Sim and the X-Plane Mooney M20 from Caernarfon. They are very similar in each of the sims. There's a few small differences, but essentially they are the same aircraft. So yeah, it made sense to make it compatible with both, as per most of the ESA panels that have relevant aircraft in each of the sims. I try to make them so that depending on whatever sim you're using, there is always some panel options for you there. So yeah, I guess we should get into having a look at these in a little bit more detail. So as per usual with these videos, nothing too official here or too involved. We're not going to follow any checklists or worry about too many real world procedures here too much. We're just going to have a general casual fly just so we can have a look at the panels and the instruments, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Mooney M20 panel set and the various different instruments and whatnot, I guess, along the way. So I guess without further ado, we should start getting powered up. We'll turn our fuel on there. Probably better put our beacon on. We'll leave the light switch panel up for a bit. Park brake's already on. I did leave the ignition on from a previous start while I was making sure it was all working. So we'll get the power on. We'll clear that master caution. You can see the EDM 800 running up through its test sequence there at the beginning. And the rather unique engine instruments on the Mooney M20 above the top of the flight instruments there, underneath the sort of glare shield you can see there. Always you tell a Mooney M20 from that. I don't think I've seen that on another aircraft really similar. Exactly the same as this. They tend to have the engine gauges either on the right hand side or centrally, but yeah, having them up the top there is a little different. Very nice difference on this aircraft. I enjoyed making that, as with the other instruments. So switch gear's a little bit different as well. It's using like rocker switches here and some covers. Some aircraft do have that, but generally with the GA aircraft you might get, I don't know, maybe toggles are a little bit more prevalent, but anyway, it is what it is. It's a nice aircraft for its era. It flies quite nicely in the sim too. I quite like it, and so yeah, I thought I'd do a panel set for it. I've been, as with a lot of these ones that have been out for a while, I've kind of had something that's semi-flyable for a while, but I didn't have the polish on it at that point, and so I've been polishing this up, replacing the instruments or making the instruments good and adding the lighting, and it all takes quite a bit of time. But anyway, we are where we are with it now, and it's complete and ready and finished as much as it can be. So I thought I'd do a video and share it and see what we do when we go on this short flight over the Irish Sea. So without further ado, I guess I'm chatting away here and the battery's running flat. We've got the fuel on. Let's get us started, at least so we can get that alternator running and get some power on. Oh, I didn't think it was going to start then. A little bit reluctant there, but we got it to snap into gear. So we're not going to program the fuel computer on this particular flight, but it is all working as similar to the this is the mini flow. It's like I would say a baby brother to the I think it's in the, I'm just going to try and probably get this wrong now. I think it's in the Bonanza. Yeah, I think it's in the analog Bonanza panel. the bigger Digiflow instrument. It's very similar to that in operation, but just in a smaller form factor. And it's just sitting under the turn coordinator there in the left side panel here. And so yeah, you've got the usual fuel computer function. You can program in and add your fuel and whatnot. We're not going to bother with that today, but yeah, it's all there, and you can flick the buttons and add the fuel for a longer flight where you're a little bit perhaps more concerned about how you are fuel wise. We're only going for a short flight today, and we've got plenty of fuel on board, so we're not going to worry about that too much for this flight. So let's get the avionics on. That's the other thing, of course. There you can see we've got the GTM panel here. There is also a panel for the standard avionics that come with the sim aircraft. So they've got just like a Navcom type radial panel, Navcom, a couple of Navcoms I think it is. But this is the GTN option one, which is a nice option to have. So using pop-out panel manager here, it's only one pop-out that you need to mess about with, and that's the one for the GTN. But using pop-out panel manager, I think I did a video on that a while on the older version. I do plan to do a video on the newer version of pop-out panel manager because it is much more polished now, but the user interface is a little different. I actually prefer it now. I've got used to it, but I can see how someone coming to it new, it's not maybe obvious straight away what it does, but once you learn it, it really isn't that hard. It's a great side-by-side application to have if you're running Air Manager panels and you're using any of the pop-out screens at all, which is pretty much almost every aircraft. I mean, there are a few exceptions. You could run this one without the GTN, as you can some of the other analog cockpits. But yeah, if you want to run a GPS or any kind of screen at all, or any of the glass cockpit panels, then you are talking about having to manage your pop-outs, and it's great for that. So check out the video for the pop-out panel manager, but I'll say I will probably be doing a new video for that because there is a new version for that. So that old one, although the principles still apply, apologies for that. That was the autopilot self-test. At the wrong time. Yeah, so the user interface is a little different on pop-out panel manager now, so that video is not that it kind of tells you the basics, and a lot of the features are the same, but where you go to click and how you do it is a little different now. So I will do a new video for that at some point. Right, so let's get our strobes on. It's only a little grass airstrip, this. Weird parking brake on this Mooney, I found. But anyway, tucked away. I'm not that familiar. I've been here once or twice, but I'm not that familiar with this airfield. I think the strip is just down the end of here. Yeah. So there is a nice, and I think I've got it loaded here, so whatever you see is probably a few additions from what you might see default in the sim. There is a nice little freeware airfield for this on Flight Sim TO done by Colonel Klink. Who has local knowledge of this airfield, so there's some little features added that are not in the default sim that just adds to that extra little bit of realism for us. Don't know if I should be taxiing up here or whether I should be backtracking the runway. Probably should be backtracking the runway. We'll just get back on here. So we'll get our landing lights on in preparation. by the sea here. The sea's just off our left wing there. You see, it looks like we've got the sun in our eyes a little bit there. So let's have a quick look. We'll stick the boost pump on. Trim is set. One stage of flaps. Get the rudder trim over just a little bit more. We have our lights on. We don't need the oxygen. Fuel is set. Let's just yeah, they're still equal. We've not used hardly anything on the left. We'll leave it on the left for the moment and we'll get out of here. I'll give you a chance to have a look at the engine instruments during the takeoff roll. Gear up. Turn that sim engine noise down a little bit. It's probably a bit loud for you guys. Hopefully that's a bit better. Bring the flaps up. Just have a little look at the coastline there, where we've just taken off from. Get the autopilot on there. You see it's got a HSI here and an ADI with the flight director bars. Two nice little instruments there. Oops. Apologies there. I think that was my my throttle, or more to be more precise, my prop lever. So I think we'll probably just we'll level out here at 3,000. And we'll have a little look at the... we're only at 3,000 here, but we should still be okay. If I can remember how to use it, we'll have a look at the EDM 800. So we're in lean fine mode now. So I think what happens is if I just lean a little bit, you can see the temperature's rising there. There you go. So it's found the leanest, so we can... You see it started to drop there. So you want to put a bit more juice back in there for richer peak. I don't think I did that quite right there. But the procedure that they outline in the manual is programmed into the unit, so you can lean it back off. I think it's 30 degrees maybe, I think they say. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the procedure that's in the EDM 800 manual for richer peak leaning, the instrument does. So you get the indications on there, and you get the richer peak set. And then you can set it into what I've just done there is I've just tapped the step button. So now it's in this auto sequencing mode where it will just flick through all the cylinders, and it'll give you a readout of some of the other parameters as well that are not pertinent necessarily to the cylinders, like battery, oil temp. But it'll give you the shock cooling there. What else have we got? Obviously the EGT and CHT are displayed on the Vargas, but you get the numerical values there as well, and the difference as well. So yeah, the basic features of the EDM 800 and the leaning bit is all there. I didn't demonstrate it very well there, but they are all there in that unit. So that was a bit of fun. Getting all that to work. Then we've got our usual Avionics suite. Lots of Bendix radials there with radios, including the ADF, the DME, the transponder. There's even a Bendix autopilot, and obviously the Nav2 unit, the usual KX165A, which so many aircraft seem to have in the simulators. We've obviously got the GTN in this particular option, but there is the dual Navcom stack, and then of course above the GTN is the annunciator panel in this aircraft. So you can do a test, light all the annunciators up. You can dim the panel if you want to. There is a switch to toggle between nav and GPS, although I've probably just turned our nav off now down the bottom on the autopilot. Better put that back on again. We'll be off track while I'm rattling, and we won't even notice. The trim, going over onto the left-hand side panel, the landing gear and the trim indicators. The trim indicators I'm really pleased with. They turned out really nice. They were a bit tricky to do, which is why I was so pleased with how they turned out in the end. But they kind of got that like recessed look, and the colours of the indications and the thing. I was really pleased with the way that they've turned out. They look really nice. And again, something that's a little, I wouldn't say totally unique to have like a bar graph type LED display, but certainly unique in the way that they look on the Mooney to other aircraft that tend to either have a mechanical pointer or they might have just a very basic needle. But yeah, they've got like this. It's like a vertical array of 20 LEDs that one switches on to the next. Based on a sensor they've obviously got on for the elevator trim, and you've got a similar display for the flap indications as well. So they've kind of married that up. So you've got one for each there, one for your elevator trim and one for your flaps. So they're nice. Below that, at the very bottom, you've got a similar unit. It's only a 10 segment display rather than a more precise, probably gives you a little bit better resolution with the 20, but it's only for rudder trim, so they've only got a little 10 segment one there. But again, you've got a little rudder trim indicator and a rudder trim switch just to the right of it. Then above that, you've got the altitude pre-selector. We didn't use that yet, but you can set your altitude that you want to climb or descend to in the usual way, and that plays quite nicely with the autopilot. It's kind of part of that system. Above that, the ADF indicator. We've got an ADF radio in this aircraft, so we can use that if necessary. We won't be needing that today. And then the CDI is for the Navcom number 2 radio. So if we wanted to use that number 2 radio, I'm having trouble saying radio today for some reason. I've been messing about with VORs and navs for too long, keep calling them radials. Anyway, and then to the left of those instruments is your usual 6-pack really. There's an airspeed indicator, which is obviously all scaled up and coloured for the Mooney M20 speeds. The usual ADI that I was talking about at the start, with the flight director bars on there. To the right of that, the just a normal generic standard altimeter that you find in many aircraft of this era, and the same can be said for the VSI below it. To the left of the VSI is the HSI, which is kind of the matching set, if you like, with the ADI and the HSI. You can see they look very similar. They're from the same manufacturer, and so yeah, you've got a nice little HSI in this. Again, it's used in lots of aircraft of this area that have a HSI. It was a very popular unit in its day. You've got the heading bug there, the course knob, and you can see the glide scope indications down the side and the CDI in the middle for when you're flying or tuning either a GPS or a Navcom for that matter on your number 1, and in this case it happens to be the GTM, but on the other variant that would be your number 1 radio. There we go again. So then below the 6-pack, I've spoken about the fuel computer already. A set of switches below the VSI there for various functions like standby vacuum, pitot heat, boost pump and whatnot. A little dimmer light. That one is actually fitted on the yoke. Obviously we tend not to have dimmers on our yokes, a bit unusual, but so I've put it on the panel there, but that's the little dimmer that's in the sim. There's a dimmer on the yoke and it controls the map reading light, I think it is. So that's for the control for that. And then to the left of that, you've got your normal key switch, your masters above that, and then to the left of the key switch is a little red button, which again, that's another yoke mounted button, but that's really essential in this aircraft. That's your speed brakes button. So that'll, I wonder if we can be a bit naughty and put them out now, but if we push that button, you'll get these tiny little speed brakes pop out at the top of the wings. You can see you get an annunciation there on the panel over on the right hand side where it says speed brake, and it just lets you know that those little speed brakes are out on the tops of the wing. We better turn it off. You can see the speed dropped a fair bit there as well, so that's really handy to control your help control your descent speed. It's quite slippery, this aircraft, and so the addition of those speed brakes is a very nice feature. Above the master switches are some more light switches that I think are over on the left hand side from memory in the actual aircraft, but again they're on the panel there. They've got a bit of space, and then above that just your normal digital clock, and at the very top, of course, the engine instrumentation. We should talk about the engine instrumentation a little bit. First of all, the master warning caution on the left hand side, that in relation to various different failures within the aircraft will come on, and it's actually a button so you can acknowledge it as well, but you'll see it's kind of linked to a lot of the annunciations that you may get on the annunciator panel on this side. That's just obviously more visible for the pilot, just draws their attention to the fact. Have a look over here and you'll get a bit more detail in terms of what that may be that might be causing that, or maybe it's one of these engine gauges that are slipping out of the green band, and they're just giving you a warning about that. So it's kind of split into, the engine instrumentation is split into two units. You've got the more textual type display on this left hand smaller unit, which gives you fuel flow, your tank capacity, which actually looking at that now, we should have swapped over a long time ago. We got a lot more fuel in the right tank. We'll just switch over to the right tank there. We should start drawing fuel from the right tank. We should start seeing that countdown in a bit. OAT, your vacuum pressure, and your your volts and your amps on one display. So the way that works is you see there's a little button here and it just says push for your volts, and you push that and you get your voltage display, and you let go of it, so it normally most of the or all the time is displaying your current loading. And then the main big unit with the 6 big gauges on there, so they've got the usual gauge with the ranges and the needles, but you've got this nice little digital readout of the value there. So you'll see they're not heavily, the scales themselves are not heavily marked in terms of the value. They tend to be the red lines and maybe the minimums and maximums at various other places, but you can see not even these transitions necessarily from the green to the yellow are marked in values, because all that is enunciated through this caution and warning system, and the values are written here above as well on this textual item along the top there. I don't know if you can see that on a video, but it will tell you here that the yellow arc starts and finishes at a certain value, and again starts and finishes at a certain value. There's 2 yellow arcs here, there and there, and then starts again there and finishes there. So, and you get obviously the value readout, so you know, look, for instance, you know, the yellow is at 60 to 100 psi. We're at 51 at the moment, so you can see we're just sort of slightly over the middle of the green range there, but well in the green range of the oil pressure, as an example. For the ones that have ranges, obviously the map doesn't have it, so there's nothing for that. But yeah, that's the Mooney M20 instrument panel set. A really nice addition to the Mooney M20, and makes it a whole lot easier to fly when you've got everything to hand, and you can certainly see what's going on with the aircraft, but also you've got what you need to be able to control it too. So it looks like we're coming in, well, not that close, but we're getting closer to Caernarfon, I think it is, that I've got quickly programmed in here. So we might as well just sit back and enjoy the view and see the coast of Wales as we approach here. So just as we're getting a bit closer, some of the other I'll put that panel view back on. Some of the other panels and instruments that are coming up in the future after this one. Been working on several actually, so there will be quite a few this year, hopefully. They're all in various states of completion. I was hoping to bring out the PC-12. A few of you may know that I've been working on the PC-12, and it is largely complete, but I'm still waiting on the developer to implement a couple of features that are kind of key to the operation of the aircraft with the autopilot integration. So I've kind of been hanging off on that one a little bit in terms of completely finishing it, because I'm kind of waiting for that to happen, and it hasn't yet, because obviously we had the Christmas break and whatnot. So hopefully that'll be out in the next update or two for that aircraft, but it's coming along and it's looking really nice, and I will be doing a video of that one at some point. I've still got a couple of instruments still to finish off, but it is largely there, and it has been for a while. I did a lot of work with the X-Plane version before SWS even brought their particular PC-12 onto the market, but I was obviously waiting for that aircraft, and it's very nice indeed, and it will work very nice with the panels once we get that little update. So that'll be a nice addition. So I was hoping to bring that one out a bit sooner, but events are what they are, so that was why that one's been delayed a little bit. And then some other ones that maybe I've shown before but I haven't released yet, that I've been tidying up and sort of adding a few new features and different variants of aircraft and whatnot. So we will be seeing the a set of panels that lots of you have asked about and have said, well, you know, where are they? We've seen them, and we've not been out yet. But that's for the Cessna 172. So I've had the 172 panels for so long now, I can't remember. And I was meaning to get round to tidying them up and adding a few new features and a few little bits here and there just need to be checked, and it was a good job. And so since I've added the WB Sim capability for Microsoft Flight Sim into the default aircraft there as well for those panel sets, and along with the G1000 panel set as well. Wasn't too many changes on that one, because that one hasn't changed too much, but so there's another couple of panels that hopefully we'll see at some point this year. I did mention to someone in the Discord the other day that I was working on a Piper PA-28 panel set. Again, that one's coming along quite nicely. A little way to go yet, but not too far. And then, yeah, there's a few others as well. There's a few others that are not maybe quite so complete. Baron is another one. The Baron G1000 is another one. I know there's a GA8 coming out this year as well. That's another panel set that I've done. So some of those ones that I've shown already will get a refresh and a look at again, just to make sure that they're still okay, and added capability for maybe new aircraft that are coming out in some cases. And then we've got some of the longer pole ones, like the Black Square King Air. That was one I had a few problems with. Hopefully they've cleared up, so I've not got back to working on that now. I know I did get some response from the developer on a couple of things, and that was good. So my initial issues, I think most of them have been addressed now, so I think maybe I can get back onto that. And what else have we? I'm just trying to think about what else we've got there. We've got the we've got the Caravan. That's a possibility. That's probably going to be what I'd probably class as an additional project, because I had a look at it. I have got the aircraft. I'm talking about the Black Square Caravan. I have got the aircraft, but it is quite a bit different to the default one, as you would expect, but probably more different in different ways. So a lot of the things I thought might be the same are different, and then a lot of the stuff that I thought might be different maybe isn't quite so different. Anyway, it's going to take quite a bit of work to make that compatible. So it's going to probably be classed as a sort of a fill-in project, that one, as and when, if we make good progress on some of the other panels, and I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, then I should do a bit of work on that and try and get that. But I am endeavouring to add support for that one, as I'd want to for the other black square, the Bonanza and the Baron, the analog Baron, which again hasn't been released yet. But I'll probably hold on to that until I can add the support for that. Again, none of this is definite, but just giving a sort of a rough idea of what we're working on and what we're trying to achieve, and hopefully some of the aircraft that we might see in 2024. Now, that's by no means an exhaustive list there, just some of the ones I could remember off the top of my head. There's plenty others in there that I've got to, but they were, a lot of those ones are on the short-term list of some of the stuff that I've been working on recently, so it kind of, well, it's fresh in my memory. But there are others there that I'm going to be looking at this year, certainly, and I'll endeavour to get as many of them out as possible, but only once I think they're good enough and they're ready. I wouldn't want to release something that was just basic and not very good. I mean, some of the aircraft are quite basic, and so therefore the panels won't take as much, but obviously if the aircraft is a bit more complicated, it takes just that little bit more. So I'm busy rattling away there and giving you an update there, and it looks like we've overflown, or at least close to where the airfield was there, and I wasn't really paying that much attention, but we'll have a look and see if we can find it. That looks like probably the Caernarfon Castle by the looks of it. So the airfield, I'm guessing, is on the outskirts of the city as per usual. Yeah, it's a bit behind us there where we are. We'll try and lose a little bit of altitude. I didn't even turn those landing lights off, did I? Too busy yabbing. Like I said, just a bit of an informal flight. Yep, that right fuel has started to come down now, so that's good. See, the speed doesn't want to come off that much in the Mooney. That's when the speed brakes come in really handy. I've not flown in here yet, so I don't even know what this is all about. Oh, lovely. Sun's right in the eyes there. Too high, too fast as well. See what I mean about the speed? Doesn't want to drop. Are those wind things really that close to the runway? Nice low pass over the airfield there. Now we should really do a landing, shouldn't we? Haven't flown this in such a long time. Forgotten how slippery it was. It's a little bit better. Well, there we are. Bit unusual with the old wind turbines right on the airfield like that. Nice reflection on the ground there. I shall have to go and have a look at a real photo. I've got a feeling this is an add-on airport as well. So maybe that's why. Maybe that is true to life. Either way, very interesting. Well, there we go then. That's the Mooney M20 from Caernarfon and the experimental Sim Avionics panel sets for it. Should make flying that particular aircraft a real joy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in another video, hopefully very soon. Thanks again. Bye.